Bolton 0, Wednesday 2. Fantastic result for us, that. Bolton. So I remember most about Bolton. I once rushed there for the midweek game. It was me and two mates, my father. And we got there about 10 minutes before kick-off. And I always remember the first time I'd been there to anyone. All tray work on display, no lowered ceilings and all like that. No brickwork, it would all like breeze block, bits of gobbo. And I thought, God, is this? Where's your bricks? No, not for me. All cables dangling down. Anyway, that's not the main thing I remember. The main thing I remembered is flew afterwards, not had any tea. Into the stadium, something to eat. So my father orders this hot dog. I says, can I have a brew? No, earns aren't on. I'm like, it's 20 to 8. Kick-off's at 7:45. You haven't supposed to put fucking tea on when now there's like 4,000 fans turning on. My father, I'll have one of them hot dogs like that. Picture a classic American hot dog. It was sealed in a foil tube. He was like, right. Open that. There's just a sausage in there and one of them little sub rolls in there. But the roll weren't cut. They were in there separately, like steamed. So he had to break bread up with his hands, wedge hot dog in, and then he's saying, have you got any onions, love? No. Mustard? No. Ketchup? No. So you ain't got any hot drinks and you ain't got anything to go on this hot dog? No. And then we went out, played quite well. Probably should have been 2 or 3 goals good, and I've got a feeling we lost 4-0 in the end. And it one of them get Johnson, but he playing, and I've just the number of times I've seen that could have been 2 or 3-0 up, and ended up getting battered. Anyway, today's game against Bolton. Bolton made 4 changes from their previous game. Santos, the captain, came back at centre half. Absolute monster he was, by the way. Surprisingly, Kieran Lee dropped down to the bench. Dempsey played just off the front 2. And there were changes there as well, with Bakayoko and Afalayan coming in for Kachunga and that kid with long hair. Wednesday made changes as well. Mark McGuinness, on loan from Cardiff City, came straight into the Wednesday lineup as left-sided centre-back to replace Reece James, who was sent off against Peterborough. Slightly more surprisingly, Big Ben Hennigan was dropped down to the bench for the first time in his Wednesday career, and Dominic Iorfa was restored to the starting lineup. This meant a slight shuffle, with Michael Heckway moving into the middle to accommodate Iorfa on the right of the 3. George Byers continued in midfield despite being substituted early in that 10-man performance at Peterborough, and there was a place in the side for the skipper Barry Bannon coming in for Volks in the centre of the park. Up front, Josh Windass with a bandaged knee came in to replace Callum Patterson to partner centre forward Lee Gregory. Returned to the side for the skipper then, except he weren't the skipper for the day. The skipper for the day was Liam Palmer, an honour given to him to help him celebrate his 350th appearance for Wednesday. That's some going in this day and age. Been at the club 23 years. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Great service. Seen an awful lot of challenges, and today given that honour the captain's armband to lead out his boyhood club. A dream that we all wish we could carry out. Surprised at Hennigan being dropped out? Yes and no. He did lose his man for the first goal the other night. Equally though, Iorfa lost his man for the second goal the other night, so I think Dad and most probably looked at it though, and he might have had a sniff of their team news and realised that they put 2 flyers up front, and I think Iorfa's pace might have been one of the reasons why he's got the nod. I tell you what, that first 5-10 minutes I thought, here we go, because these are a good side. Fantastic unbeaten home record, not just all of this season, but stretching way back into last season, way back to, I think it was last Christmas time. Fantastic home record, just don't lose at home. First 10 minutes, they'd all over us like a cheap suit, know what I mean, and Wednesday really backs to the wall. In the first 5 or 6 minutes, Heckway makes 2 fantastic blocks, one just inside the 18-yard touchline, if you like, and one on the edge of the 6-yard box. And Wednesday really coming under pressure. We're trying to play it out from the back, but Bolton, with their 2 nippy strikers up front, are putting a real squeeze on us, and it's quite evident that they've obviously reviewed the evidence and decided that's the best thing to do. Wednesday's passing out from the back hasn't been the slickest, and if you can get a foot in there, you're only 20 yards from goal. Wednesday's best opportunity in opening 15-20 minutes is actually a lovely little lofted ball from Marvin Johnson down left hand side, and Lee Gregory just can't quite get there. I mean, the flag goes up anyway, fag paper job, but that is really Wednesday's best opportunity in the early stages. Wednesday started growing a bit, but what they're not doing is they're not going in 100 mile an hour trying to close Bolton down, which is one of the reasons we're coming under pressure, but also one of the reasons why we're not cracking under that pressure, because the performance today defensively is really sound, and it's all about Wednesday. You're saying, okay, we'd like to win it back up there, we'd like to win it right edge of their box and try and get shots away, but we're conceding goals in a certain manner. Wednesday really, when they lost possession today, just got men behind the ball and were nice and compact, and really noticeable that Backinson and Bannon, they were sort of taking turns, but mainly Backinson, were getting out when they were attacking wide Bolton and making a 2v2 and helping Marvin Johnson out. So sort of Backinson was doing it on that left hand side. George Byers, when the ball was on the other side, he was getting out there and playing in front of Liam Palmer. So it's a 3-man set midfield, but I talked about this in another game, Charlton I think it was the other week, about Wednesday's midfield just moving across as a column, letting them have the ball, and when they come in, moving across as a column like that, we look so much more solid for it. Gregory has an half chance, Backinson does really well. I can understand what the Bristol fans meant now about his languid style, but you know what, I like the way he moves the ball. Always got his head up, has a look. Clips a lovely little cross ball in, and Gregory just can't get the purchase. I think he comes to him a bit quicker than he's expecting. He just can't get the purchase to get it back across, and he goes out on the near side. But Wednesday, bit by bit, starting to grow into the game, and Bolton, for all coming out, you know, all guns blazing 100 mile an hour, suddenly that sort of barometer starts going back up and evening out a little bit as we approach the break. Typically, sometimes that's when you can switch off the most, when you're having a decent little spell. And as Wednesday grew into the game, there were 2 fantastic opportunities for Bolton to take the lead. First, on 28 minutes, Connor Bradley went on a fantastic mazy run from just inside the Wednesday half on the inside right channel, drifted all the way in, went past 2 or 3 challengers, got into the box and managed to manoeuvre the position to get a shot. Unfortunately, for the 3rd time in the half, Michael Heckway, who's had an absolutely fantastic game by the way, was there to block an absolute nailed on goal with a brilliant bit of defending. It's just a minute later they have probably the best chance of the entire half, and I actually include the goals in that. Backinson makes an hospital ball. McGuinness don't look like he's going to make it, and he don't make it. He then chucks himself in there, so he's completely out of the game. Dempsey breaks through. It's a 1-on-1. It looks like it's going to be a goal. All ends up. Stockdale does brilliantly. Yes, I know he didn't save it, but he does brilliantly, because what he does is he comes out in 2 stages very quickly. Out a bit, their lad's got his head up, then he comes out a bit more when he's having his look at the ball. So he's closed that angle down quickly, but he don't go down. He comes out, but he stays big. Their lad puts it where he should still bet it for my money, but it is really good goalkeeping. The goal's bizarre. It starts with Santos, who is a man mountain of a player, turning and just knocking a blind back pass to his goalkeeper from 40, 45 yards. Except his goalkeeper's not even in 18-yard box. He's stood a couple of foot outside edge at D. But to be fair, keeper Trafford runs back, does really well to clear it. Can he get it wider? he might be looking at that. But he clears the ball to Bannon, who plays a slick little 1-2 with Marvin Johnson, and then it's just a very simple. He looks like he's going to square up for his shot, but he squares a little ball, and there's George Byers to pop it home. And you could see how much it meant to him, by the way. 90 yards down pitch to celebrate with the Wednesday fans, with his saluting celebration, which I do love, by the way. I'm not one of these for these made-up celebrations, you know what I mean? Peter Crouch when he was doing his robot thing, I've got no time for that, but pure elation and joy for 30 seconds, followed by a salute to the crowd. Nah, I'm all over that. So, we're helped taking the lead, because Bolton had a real spell first 10-15 minutes, but you set opportunities when they come. Real calm play by Bannon. Mexart is going to shoot, little square ball. Nice. 2 minutes later, we double lead, and you probably wouldn't have expected it the way the game panned out in that first half. Liam Palmer scores it, delighted for him. But it all starts, Marvin Johnson clips a ball down the line, and it's fantastic hold-up play from Lee Gregory. His close chest control is out of this world. I haven't seen a chest control that good probably since Dion Burton, old Velcro chest. Really good hold-up play, Link. The ball inside to Windass, who great forward play. He doesn't even take a touch. As the ball come in, he just lets it roll across him. Completely takes his man out. He dummies him without touching ball. And then it's a lovely little ball around corner. That is one of my favourite little passes, that when defenders are all looking and you just blind, straight through blind spot. Brilliant. Palmer's charged on, and he has charged on, by the way, because when Windass is just receiving that ball in and starting his turn, Liam Palmer's 40 yards down pitch. He absolutely nails on, gets into the box. One good touch to set him send. A lot of people had blazed that as it come across them. One good touch and drills it in. Wednesday 2, Bolton 0. I think Bolton could arguably say against the run of play, but Wednesday had been growing anyway. Right, starting second half, Liam Palmer, lovely little lofted pass down. George Byers makes a diagonal out from the central pack. Gets a good whipped cross in there, and Windass, he's just inside 6 yard line. Is it an horrific miss? It is, but I can't help but feel it flicks up at last minute. It's hard to tell, I'll have to see it again, but I do feel like it flicks up a bit. I'll give him benefit of doubt, but even with a flick up, he should probably put it away. They've got a 22, I think it's Williams. He goes straight through back of Gregory, and that is starting to be a theme now every week, but he goes straight through back at him. We don't get anything, and then ball breaks to him about 15 seconds later, and I'm pleased to say, completely fair challenge by the way, wins the ball, but I'm pleased to say Iofa completely wipes him out, and I don't know for a fact, but in my head I like to think that he saw what he did to Gregory and thought, alright, you want to play a bit of that game, do you, son? That's what I hope in my mind. Probably more innocent than that, but just how I am. Gregory has had a fantastic game today. In fact, probably for the last 25 minutes, half an hour, their centre half, the big number 6, he's just going to look back at him all the time. He's literally got nothing. His hold up play was superb, absolutely tireless. His first touch is good, and he just links it really. He's just good with his back to goal at just that little touch, getting it out wide and just spinning in for return. He's had a fantastic game. On another day, even we had a goal, he'd have been in a shout for man at match for me. 20 minutes to go, Wednesday's passing starts getting a little bit sloppy. They're putting a bit more pressure on. They've made a couple of changes, Bolton, and they seem to change their shape a bit, and Wednesday were having to adjust to that. We were getting a lot of passes cut out, and you did think, oh, I'm fired, this is going to be a tense. And if they got a goal back, you could see nerves jangling a bit. But as I said in the first half, and even better in the second half, when Wednesday did give the ball away, the sheer numbers they got back, it was unbelievable. And the speed. As soon as possession was lost, everybody back in. Everybody goal side. And it's one of the most basic things in football, isn't it? Put yourself between the ball and the goal. It's like the 101 of teaching defending to a 5-year-old. Put yourself between the ball and the goal. They were all back in behind, and there were one or two crosses still coming in, but as I said, in the first half, Backinson getting out, supporting Johnson, Byers especially getting out and supporting Palmer. Not that he actually needed a lot of support because he had a great game, like Parminio. In fact, 10 minutes ago, Palmer sort of wins an header. It's one of them ones that heads and it goes up in air, near halfway line. An unbelievable desire to get on the end of it. A lot of full-backs will just head that forward and like, okay, I'll stay in, I've got a decent position. But possession's probably going to turn over. But he doesn't, he sort of heads it. It's one of them up and downers. And he thinks, no, I can get after that. Gets after it. Lovely cross into box. Just evades everybody, but a fantastic bit of play. And he just looks absolutely full of beans at the minute. It's a real good performance from Wednesday. The first half was frenetic at times. Bolton really came at us, and they were quite slick. Wednesday, we're trying to slow the tempo down, take a bit of sting out of them. The problem was we were slowing it down, which allowed them time to get back, so then we were having to look for that slightly longer ball. And although I don't mind that if it's quick, and if it gets it away from our half sometimes, because we can still look a little bit uncomfortable playing it out from back, with the exception of Stockdale, who looks like he's absolutely having the time of his life when centre forwards start closing him down and he's having his little touches before picking it up. They had a free kick that sort of, he made a good save. I've got half a mind he might have pushed it onto the post. But it was a real good performance. There were times when we were sloppy with the ball, but there was a spell in the middle of the game when they had the blistering start and we come back, and it was sort of evenly balanced. It was a really good game of football with two sides trying to play. Second half, bit sloppier, but we played well in terms of what we did defensively. We played well in terms of what we did without the ball. Really good performance. Man of the match, I would say Gregory was in with a shout. I thought he was exceptional. Everything but a goal. Byers was good, as you would expect. I thought Bannon was looking more like his old self. And if I based it on the first half, I think my man of the match would have been Hekwe, because he just got on with job. 4 or 5 absolutely fantastic blocks. Good in the air. You can see him organising. I thought Iofa looked good. I thought he needed a good game for his own confidence. I thought he had a good game. And he linked well with Palmer, actually. That little combination down that right hand side, there might be something to come from that. That looked quite good. That everybody who's played today, it's their shirts to lose. I think they played really well with and without the ball. But my man of the match would have to be Liam Palmer, because maybe I'm sentimental and it is the 350 thing, but I just thought he had a terrific game anyway. He made some vital blocks. I'll tell you what, he's made one of them blind passes at one bit without looking, like Perlo used to do. I think it's Gregory that links the ball to him, doesn't even look. Doesn't even take a full leg swing at it, just sort of stubs it, spins perfectly weighted of a man for Byers to get on N2, and he was just playing with a confidence and a swagger, and it's nice to see. So yeah, Palmer would have been my man of the match. But it was a really good team performance. And I think you've also got to credit the manager for that as well, because big decisions. Dropped Hennigan, brought Iofa back in. Kept Byers in the side when 1 or 2 people are chomping for blood. And he's put Backinson in. And the temptation to stick Delabishiro in and try and keep him on side to get him to sign his contract. That must be playing a part. Must have been tempting to want to put Dennis in after what he's done against Sunderland, but he's resisted the temptation. He's put Backinson in, and he's had a really good game as well. So I know it's different in modern football, but I would like to see that same 11 in the next game. A full classified check. Barnsley 0, Wycombe Wanderers 3. Bolton Wanderers 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Burton Albion 0, Port Vale 2.
It's in there!
1, Cambridge United 1. Exeter City 0, Cheltenham Town 1. Fleetwood Town 0, Derby County 0. Forest Green Rovers 0, Plymouth Argyle 3. Milton Keynes Dons 1, Accrington Stanley 1. Oxford United 1, Morecambe 1. Peterborough United 4, 11-man Lincoln City 0. It's almost as if Peterborough's a right good side, isn't it? That are going up and going to be challenging, and that you need that little bit of luck when you're playing against them. It's almost as if losing there 2-0 with 10 men's not actually that bad a result, all things considered. Portsmouth 3, Bristol Rovers 1. Shrewsbury Town 0, Ipswich Town 3. Some other results, I think it's going to be a tough division this season, but I think we've got every chance. A quick look at top of table then. Ipswich still top, played 5, won 4, no defeat so far, 13 points. Peterborough in second, good team them. They'll take some teams to town at their place. Teams with 11 men. Portsmouth in third. They've had a really good start to the season actually, haven't they? And it probably puts a little bit of perspective on that game at Hillsborough on opening day. And of course there's Wednesday, 4th position, 3 wins, 1 draw, just the 1 defeat. Yeah, and I couldn't help myself. I had to say
7 goals and 5 against.
The knee jerk I thought it week was absolutely over top, ridiculous. We will be there or thereabouts this season. I'll tell you something else I noticed. I can't remember if we faced at second goal yesterday, but even though lad who scores miles away from action, just the little pockets of players all running over and high-fiving with each other and chatting. I could see Iofa telling everybody to calm down and let's focus, and I just get the impression that there's a real togetherness with this squad. And when you're picking up that sensation when you're watching the game, I think it usually means there's something there, and I think it's quite rare actually in football. I've got a very, very good feeling about this season. I really have.